What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Brown Enough, Season 4. Today in the studio we have the one, the only Carlos Guzman, the founder of Brown and Proud. If you don't know Brown and Proud, and you watched the Julio Macias episode, then you saw Brown and Proud in action. Not just in our beings, but in the hat that Julio was wearing and kind of is always rocking. And now I have been blessed with some beautiful Brown and Proud clothing. I definitely recommend you, right after you listen to this episode, hell, you can even pause it and do it right now. Go check out Brown and Proud. Buy some beautiful, beautiful merch and clothing.
And for me to get to where I am today, this was all a God thing. Like, it was all in God's plan.
This is a wonderful conversation about inspiration, listening to your spirit, and just making it happen. You just got to do it. All right, y'all. Enjoy. Yeah, it's like it lets me cool and meet cool people like you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, like that's in that sense, it's amazing. Like, which is a good, intro. Like I don't know about you unless another cool person who's here says to me, you have to talk to this person,
right?
Which is you.
Yeah.
And he's wearing your, Julio's wearing your stuff regularly.
Yeah, he reps hard, man.
He reps hard. And so, and he said, and he's telling me about the story. He's telling me about you. And he says, you have to come here. So you're here. So if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Yeah. My name is Carlos Guzman. I'm the owner of Brown and Proud. I am from Mexico, Naucalpan, to be exact. I was born out there, brought at like a year old. I've been here my whole life. So I'm Mexicano, but raised as a Chicano, So it's I've seen a lot, done a lot, experienced a lot, and I'm grateful to be here now.
Why not Chicano and Proud? Why not Latino and Proud? Why not Mexicano and Proud? Why Brown and Proud?
I get that question a lot. I'm like, oh, Chicano and Proud, and it's funny because
you got the Mexican shirt.
Yeah.
So
I'm repping what I am, you know what I mean? Mexicano. Chicano and Proud, I think the word brown, it brings all of us together. Central America, South America, North America, all of us. Like, we're all brown. So we should all be proud of our heritage, of our roots, of where we come from. So I couldn't really just pinpoint to Mexicano and Proud, Chicano and Proud, Salvadoreño and Proud. It had to be everybody, inclusive for everyone.
Yes, and like that is the essence of this podcast. Yeah. That's the essence of why I chose Brown in the book. I don't even think it's just Central and South America.
Yeah.
Like, there are more.
Yeah.
I make the case there are more brown bodies in the world if we're going strictly off color than anything else.
Yeah.
I grew up in Queens, New York, full of brown bodies.
Mm-hmm.
The Egyptians, the South Asians, the Asians. Like, in this spectrum of black and white, brownness is this all-encompassing thing.
Absolutely.
How many, if you know the metrics, how many non-Latinos are repping the Brown and Proud?
Yeah, so there's a lot of Filipinos that are repping. There's a lot of, I think there are Maoris.
Latinos of Asia.
Maoris, the Maoris in somewhere over there by Australia.
New Zealand.
Yeah,
cool.
Maoris, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we got them over there. And honestly, like you said, it's crazy because like this was, it started and it still is. It's a Latino based, right, movement. But it's kind of like scattered. It's kind of moved on its own. Like, it's done it on itself. Not even me promoting it in that sense that it's for for Asia, for New Zealand, or for just brown in general. It's kind of done it on its own. And it's beautiful because that message alone, like, it just shows that people resonate with it, and that's the beautiful thing about that phrase, that term, brown and proud, where you can make it your own, in whatever sense it is. And like, in the sense of brown and proud, like, our slogan is brown is more than a color. It's my cultura, right? So it's not about skin tone. You could be a light Latino, light skin Latino, dark skin Latino, and so brown is far more than just color.
Brown is culture.
It's culture.
And what is that culture to you?
What is that culture to me, man? My upbringing, it's what I fell in love with, as a kid. I was so attracted even before, like when I came to this country, I was 1 year old. So my memory of like Mexico and living out there is not like I'm like, oh yeah, I remember being in the rancho. I remember this. I remember like no, like I was raised out here. But the difference is that at a young age, I for some reason I gravitated towards my culture because my parents told me like, oh, you weren't born here, like you were born in Mexico. And that already, just by that alone, it made me feel different, but not in a negative connotation, but different in like, okay, so all these kids were born in the US, but I was born in Mexico.
Mm.
And I love to brag about that. Like in elementary, I'll tell my friends, like, hey, like, yeah, I was born in Mexico. Like I was born in Mexico. My grandparents are in Mexico. Like I would brag about it. And it's so funny because like now that I think about it, it's like I was proud
Yeah.
at such a young age. And throughout my years, like in middle school, high school, I was always a kid with the Mexican flag bandana in my back pocket. Like, dude, like it's so crazy.
And that comes from you, not from parents, not from
No, no, and,
grandparents.
and that's what I was talking to my wife about. Like, it's so crazy that my parents never instilled that pride, that pride in my culture, in my heritage. I
To a
wasn't.
fault, or they just, you were
No, it
like,
was just I guess it wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? Like my parents, they're from out there. So to them coming to this country, it's something that's automatic already. It's just something that it's automatic. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I don't gotta
for
rep what I am.
yeah, 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 exactly. But out here in a country where there's so much diversity and there's so many issues, as far as politics and all this stuff that's going on.
To say the least.
Yeah. It's important to say who you are, where you come from, and to be proud of it, you know? And it's honestly it's just an honor, man. Like at least for me, cuz since I was a kid, like and for me to get to where I am today, like this was all a God thing. Like it was all in God's plan, you
Yeah.
know. Like God said, okay, you're proud from this age, and you're gonna be proud till the day you die. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing. So that's kind of like where I'm at, man. Like it's beautiful, and I really enjoy doing everything I'm doing for this movement, and it's not a job to me, man. It's just I love it.
When you say this movement, the movement of the brand, Brown and Proud, is there a bigger movement? The
Yes,
movement of a people, the movement of
yeah,
liberation, the
yeah,
movement of.
yeah. So like Brown and Proud in itself, man, like it's I see it more than just a brand because it was not even supposed to be a clothing brand or anything like that. Because Brown and Proud it derives from the 1970s. It comes from back then, and it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And when I believe I was in middle school when that term first came into my how you say it. I was
Ethos.
exposed to it. I
Yeah.
was exposed to the term, and I kind of just resonated with it because of the brown part and me being brown skinned and everything, and I'm proud, my heritage. So it kind of just stuck with me. And mind you, like this is in middle school. High school came around and
You know how
everything.
you heard it, or do you like
Yeah,
remember?
so my cousin actually so he was in a hood in a neighborhood, gang banging and that kind of stuff. And the clique he was part in was called Brown and Proud.
Oh,
Yeah, so this is my older cousin. I'm an only child, by the way, which is so weird for a Latino to come from you know, but they be producing, but for some reason, I'm the only one. Um, but yeah, so my older cousin, I always looked at him as my older brother. I always looked up to him, and and I knew this about him that he was in this clique called Brown and Proud, and I was just like, man, that's so cool, like the term and everything, but in the sense that they were doing it had a really negative connotation.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was kind of the connotation that I was exposed to it at first, and how I was running with it. Um, But then as I got older, high school came around, still kind of, negative connotation. Um, as I got older, dropped out of high school, and the term brown and proud, it came back to me again. And but I was more mature already, and I was like already like more woke, if you want to say. And I was just like, you know what, like this is really cool. Like I'm gonna throw it on a shirt, just for myself. You
How
know what I
old are you
mean?
at this moment?
I was probably, how old was I? 28, 27, 20, around there. Yeah.
So
So
it comes
years
back. You
went
heard it. You
by.
heard it when you're young. You're walking down the street, leaving the
No, sorry,
supermarket.
I
It
was
hits
probably
you,
like 25. Yeah, like 25.
and it hits your spirit again.
Yeah, it
Brown
hits
and
me. It
proud.
starts
I'm throwing
growing
it on a
again.
T-shirt.
Mama, I'm gonna throw on a t-shirt, and this was something personal to me. Like it wasn't. I wasn't trying to make it into a brand or anything like that.
You were into fashion or no? You were just like
Nah, man. Like, I mean, I've been into business like since I was a kid. My mom. I was a kid in middle school, high school, selling the candy, selling the Slim Jims, like selling all this stuff. So like the hustle was always with me, like business and trying to like start businesses. So when I did this, it was something personal. The brown and proud. I was just like, I'm brown and proud. Throw it on a shirt. I happened to take some photos with it, posted it, and then it just started getting traction. People started feeling it. People started liking it. Oh, what are these available? Are you selling these or what? So I was just like, all right. I'm like, I guess I am. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me, make a few shirts, pump them out. And sure enough, man, like it's so crazy because like I've been in the struggle of like trying to build a business and how difficult it is to gain traction, to gain an audience, right? Because when you first start, you have nobody, and it's just like a one person, and then maybe that person will tell somebody else, and then that person tells somebody, and it just starts growing. But and a lot of businesses struggle with that
yeah.
sense. And it's so crazy how when this took off, it literally just took off, you know. Um, the Instagram page I made for it, it just started getting followers like every day, every
Cool.
day, every day, every day. And we've been doing this for 6 years already, and it was honestly like very surprising because at that time I didn't see too much of like brown culture being pushed out. Like obviously there was some here and there. So at that time I feel like when people saw Brown and Proud, like it was like an they resonated with it like automatically, which is why it did so well. Why people started gravitating towards it. And so I was like, okay, I think I have something in my hands here. Like there's something might be going on. And so yeah, we just I like that logo, the shirt you're wearing right now. That's actually the original design. The back has three Dobermans with the brown and proud arched over it. And people always ask me like, why the Dobermans? Like, why didn't you do like Chihuahuas or Cholo Squint? Like,
Pitbull.
yeah, yeah, something more
Yeah,
culturally
yeah.
connected. You know what I mean? To like La Raza and everything. And the thing, like I said, this was personal. Like this was something personal to me. So the Dobermans, my grandpa in Mexico, in his place of work, he had like horses. He had a little rancho in Mexico City. So he had like horses, pigs, roosters, a whole nine. And his guard dogs were three Dobermans.
Paw Patrol.
Yeah, the Paw Patrol. Yeah, so he had three Dobermans, and that's what inspired me to throw on the three Dobermans, which is why like it's so personal to me. Like that shirt itself is it was something about what was in my heart.
And I don't think a brand takes off. I tell this to young artists all the time. Like, if you're trying to make something viral, and because you saw something viral and you're trying to mimic it, it's already old.
Yeah.
Like, it has no flavor. It has no
Mhm.
sauce. Like, it only works because it's personal.
Right.
If you're trying to copy what worked for someone else, it's probably not going to hit.
Mhm.
I also think there's something about this word proud and pride. Like, I have this lion tattoo on my wrist,
Mhm.
and that's because I watched this PBS documentary about cats.
Mhm.
and like lions are the king of the jungle, and
Mhm.
they call that a pride.
Right. Pride.
And to me, proudness can really be an enemy.
Mm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
and but with a lion, a pride is your family, it's your community.
Yep.
If cats are solitary animals, but lions are the only ones that have a pride.
Yep.
And when we sort of gather, this was really influential, this idea of pride as community
Right.
versus individual pride, to lean into this understanding of brown for me, because I felt like what blackness had done so well was create a pride.
Right.
Like blackness accepted more Afro Latinos than Latinidad did ever, probably still does.
Still.
Um, so they understand pride in that way.
Mhm.
We have this thing. Let's help each other out.
Mhm.
Uh, and I feel like our community really lacked that. You know, uh, this understanding that we could be one.
Yep.
I want to know if you have felt, sort of coming from the Hollywood lens. I know that if Mexicans get a TV show, the Colombians go, "Where's my show?"
Mhm.
I know that if Colombians get a TV show, the Puerto Ricans are like, "Where's my thing?"
Mhm.
If they get a parade, they're like, "I want my parade."
Mhm.
Has that ever sort of come about in your brand, or is everyone who's repping it is like, no, actually, I want to dismantle the lines and the barriers?
Nah, there's definitely a divide still, which is unfortunate. And in divide in a couple of different aspects. Not just in color, unfortunately, but even culturally. Between like Salvadorians, Guatemalans, Mexicans. That's I would say that's kind of like the my biggest demographic: Guatemalan, Salvadorian, and Mexicans.
How you tracking this? Is it just people who like hit you up and say, "Yo, I'm getting this for the
Not really,
people," or
man. Honestly, it's just throughout the years. It's throughout the years, just seeing who gravitates to what and what product did better, eh, in that
yeah,
sense. Because I've tried pushing out, different countries too, Venezuela, Honduras, and they don't do as well as the Mexican, Salvadoran, Guatemalan community do. And maybe I haven't reached that community yet. I'm
yeah.
not sure. But as far as like that divide, there is that divide. I remember it was a really unfortunate uh, post I made, which I found so powerful, and I found it like necessary to share it. It was a photo from the 1970s where the Black Berets were united with the Black Panthers,
Yeah.
and they were both standing in solidarity. And I posted that photo, and I was like, wow, like this is amazing, so powerful, like the photo on its own, and all hell broke loose
Really?
on that comment section. It was crazy.
To say
Uh,
what?
and it's so crazy because I guess, Instagram, the algorithm and everything picks up, terminology. And so it said Black Panther. So Instagram said, okay, let me reach out to the black community. Come on to Brown and Proud and see what they're posting about. And that's kind of what happened. And, it's unfortunate because, there's issues, there's problems in every country, every city, every state, and violence, hate, all that kind of stuff exists, and it's always going to exist, and in this case here it was kind of like, oh, like, nah, the blacks, no, this and that, or oh, the Mexicans, oh no, like, no, 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 no. So it was a lot of a conflict. There was a lot of like going back and forth with each other, and that really broke my heart, man. Like it was something where I was just like, man, like I had to literally go into the comment section and try to reply to a lot of these and try to have like a dialogue, like, yo, like this is not it, you know? And that's what I try to do a lot. And unfortunately, with a movement as big as this, you can only do so much because it's like more of them, and it's just me behind, this movement. It's me running it, but it's like it's so much that I have to carry, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight. And so I try to do my best, man, to bring peace with all of us, you know, with every culture. And going back to what you're saying about pride, pride could also have a negative connotation, right? And in Brown and Proud, it's not about me feeling superior. It's not about us feeling superior than somebody else. It's not us trying to be bigger than anyone else. It's about us just being proud, loving our culture, loving where we come from, loving our heritage, you know, and how that just empowers us and makes us stronger as a people, but not to like overthrow a different culture, a different ethnicity, you know. So that's one thing that I really try to clarify, which is also why, the slogan is, brown is more than a color. It's our cultura, you know.
Which is why I use that term bodies of culture, not
Hmm.
bodies of color.
Right,
Because whiteness has never really wanted our color, but they want our culture.
right.
As they argue about who belongs, who doesn't, which border to put up, who to kick out, who to allow, then they're like, "You want to get falafel, ramen,
Mm.
or a burrito?"
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
incredible. They
yeah,
love our culture. They want to commodify it. They want to make money off of it. They want to eat it.
yeah,
But they don't want to share with it. Uh, and this idea of the divide is really frustrating, and it is really sad knowing that we all are dependent on each other's liberation.
yeah,
Like you actually, as a body of culture, cannot get free unless everybody else is free.
yeah,
And the greatest trick whiteness ever pulled was convincing us that there was only so much room at the top for freedom and liberation,
right.
and it'll keep us sort of
Yeah,
fighting at that one piece of the pie.
yeah.
I tell this story in the book, the chapter "Words Are Spells in Your Mouth," which is a Susan Laurie Parks quote, which someone just told me recently. Spelling is called spelling because you are casting spells.
Mm.
So words are spells in your mouth. And I have this line in a play of mine, "Proudly in My Own Brown Skin."
Mm.
And I tell this story about my director. When we were rehearsing it, he was like, "I don't believe you. I don't believe you." And
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it again. He goes, I can't hear it." And he didn't mean like he wasn't deaf. He
Yeah,
couldn't feel it.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't alive. And
Mm-hmm.
if I don't feel it, he doesn't feel it, and the
You had
audience
to
won't feel
convince
it.
them.
And I got to convince myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what is the journey, if there is any? Does the prideness, well, did it ever dip? Or was it just really from day one? Like, as a kid, I'm always gonna have this pride.
It's always been since day one,
Yeah.
and I could confidently say that, man. Like I said, it like at such a young age. I can literally say I think from the age of, let me see, when you're in elementary, you're like what, 5, 4, something like that, right? So I remember when I was first put in the in elementary, first grade. Um, I was raised in the San Fernando Valley, by the way. So there's a whole lot of diversity there. White kids, black kids, Asian, everything. And again, going back to what you were saying about TV and film and all that stuff, like what you normally see there, you don't see, our type of people on the screens, right?
Still don't.
So yeah, still. And so as a kid, like I would watch TV and I'll see white actors and everything. And I remember at one point, and it's so crazy how I remember that I went home and told my mom, "Oh, mom, I wanna color my hair blonde."
Hmm.
Yeah, I want to color my hair blonde, and then I think the name was Zach or something. I want to change my name to Zach or to Max or something like that, right? And it's so crazy because again, my parents didn't instill pride in me like culturally. I'm sorry, to love my culture, to love my heritage, or none of that kind of stuff. It was just automatic, like I said. But one thing that my parents did do, and that a good habit my mom has still, is taking photos. So she has albums on albums and albums of photos from Mexico, from like everything. So I remember I would always love looking at these albums. So I remember after looking at these albums, seeing my parents living in Mexico, seeing like the different, um, even aesthetic, from how it is in Mexico to here, the buildings, the streets, the people, the way they dressed, like it was so different from here. And when I would see these pictures, like I just fell in love with it.
Hmm.
And I remember that after that, that's when that whole thing about me telling my friends, like, I was born in Mexico, because I remember my parents showed me my birth certificate. and it was all in Spanish and everything, and like it looked so different. Like it didn't look like. I mean, I had never seen a birth certificate from here, but it just looked beautiful to me. I don't know.
Beautiful.
I don't know how to explain it, but it just stood out to me. And since then, that's when that just birthed in me. That like that pride, that proudness of my culture, and having to tell my friends like I'm Mexican. I was born in Mexico. I'm not just Mexican by association. No, I'm from over there. I was born over there at a hospital. Like
Yeah.
my feet touched. Um, and
How you feel
that's
about Mexico is how New Yorkers feel about being born in New York, like in the
yeah,
city. Like only
yeah,
a real New Yorker can tell you the hospital they're born in. Like New York Women's Presbyterian in the Upper East Side,
yeah,
same hospital my dad was born in.
yeah,
Like only that's how New
yeah,
Yorkers feel
yeah.
about that.
No, absolutely, and and it's really like that, man. Like it was just this pride, this like this power I felt, like I was just like, man, yeah, I was born in Mexico. And then the thing too is that we had just come from Mexico to South Central. That was our first stop. We lived in South Central for a couple of years, and we came on a visa. And so we kind of went back and forth for maybe like 2 years, back and forth to Mexico, and then our visa expired. So we ended up staying over here. And when I would tell my friends, because I would ask my mom, like, oh, when are we going back? When are we going back to Mexico? When are we going back? And, it came to a point where my parents just told me, like, we can't go back.
Mm.
And so I would tell my friends, I'll be like, yeah, one day I'm going to go visit my grandparents. Like one day, one day, one day. And one day, it like turned into over 20 years
Yeah.
later that I was able to go back to Mexico
Huh.
when I was able to get my residency and everything. So it took time. It took a lot of time, and during that time, that pride never faded.
Yeah.
Like that love for my culture never faded. I loved going to I remember the first place that kind of reminded me of Mexico that my parents took me to was like Placita Olvera
Yeah.
back in the 90s, you know? And I'll feel so cool, like, oh wow, like this is so cool. I could only imagine what Mexico's like.
Yeah.
And just a little piece of Mexico there, And
I wish I could have seen it in the 90s. It was probably like,
yeah, man, it was beautiful, man. I mean,
yeah.
again, I don't remember off the top of my head, but again, like I said, my mom, she took photos of everything. Like I could bring you, it's crazy how many photos she took. But I'm grateful for that too because it just locked in all the memories, locked in all the memories that I could look back and man, like you could just see me like so like taking photos with Aztec dancers as a kid, you know what I mean? Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. Um and but yeah, that pride never faded, man. And it's if anything it's growing more, you know. That love for my culture is just growing more and more the more I see people resonate with this movement, love the movement, the way, people just email us sometimes like, hey, thank you so much for this movement. Like you guys are a voice for us. Thank you so much for what you do. And it's motivating and it helps us to keep on pushing, to keep on creating, to keep on doing more, and our goal is to serve, to serve our people, our community, and not just our people, but just people in general, trying to serve everyone. Um, there's plans, there's other plans we have too, where we want to make this bigger than just clothing. We want to actually, even make a facility,
Yeah.
do something bigger. But I mean, it takes time. It takes also knowing the right people. Right now, it's me and my wife. We run the whole show.
Who's
Uh,
here in the building?
which is she's here, my beautiful wife,
What's your name?
Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
um, and we run the whole show, man, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and we were just recently talking about this. Like, we would love to like hire people to help us, but it's just not in the budget. Like
Not yet.
not yet, not
And
yet.
soon,
Yeah, soon, soon.
look out for the call.
Yeah. But it's growing, man. It's growing pretty quickly, and it's just an honor, man. It's an honor to be in this position. And for context also, like, this is the second podcast I ever do interview. Like, I've never done this before. And it's been not really because I haven't wanted to, but I never wanted to put a face on this movement, if that makes sense. Like, I wanted the face to be the people. Like, this is about the people. This is not about Carlos Guzman. This is about you. It's about her. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's it's far greater than just me. But as years went by, like, and which is why I decided to actually, you know, take this step, was because I feel it's important for people to see who's running the show.
Yeah.
You know, who's running the show and who's the one pushing this out. Because there could also be speculations where people are like, "Oh, this is it's just a money grab. Like, it might be some white guy. It might be
Jeff
some,
Bezos is like, gotta tap into that Mexican
yeah,
market.
you know what I mean? Like, and so, like, I had to, like, make it clear, like, I'm a brown man, born in Mexico, in fact, so you can't tell me nothing. Um, and but not just that, man, but just just being able to share my story, my testimony, because it hasn't been easy. It really has not been easy. Like, coming from a background where, like, my mom, she has always been like number one in school. My dad, not so much, but there was a lot of pressure on me growing up, like, to be the best.
Oh yeah, how do parents feel about this?
Oh man. So growing up, my parents had, I mean, I don't want to say they didn't have any hope, but they were scared
Yeah.
because academically, zero. Like, I dropped out of high school. Um, I had ADHD, but it wasn't diagnosed at an early age because at that time it wasn't a thing like it is now, where social media is even around, where it's like more out there. It's more, people are more aware of these, health issues and all mental issues, mental health. But as a kid growing up, my teachers, my parents, oh yeah, he's disruptive. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't focus. He doesn't this. He doesn't that. But it was just that. There was no diagnosis to it. You know what I mean? So I was never able to focus in school. I was never, like, that was never my thing. Um my thing, on the other hand, was like creative arts. Like, that's where I locked in. Music was where I locked in. Um, I started making music, so I started rapping, making beats when I was 13. I was 13 years old, and I fell in love with it. I was I was doing that every single day. I had my little setup at home. Um, I had a cassette tape thing that I would record my vocals on. Um, and it was just something that changed my life. And it that was my dream, to make music. Like, that was what I wanted to do. And my
Brown and Proud
parents,
record label.
yeah, and my parents, they were like, okay, nah, like, this is not gonna feed you. This is not a real career. Like, you need to wake up. But I was just so, nah, but I love doing this. But I love doing this. But I love. So that's why I go back to saying, like, my parents were kind of scared for my future, because they didn't see anything solid or real. But I had dreams. I had dreams, and I kept pushing towards it, and it got to the point where I actually started making money off of music. I started making money. My parents were like, "Oh, okay, like, something's happening here." I went into graphic design. I started designing for, Atlantic Records,
Cool.
and for artists from Atlantic Records. I started doing my own thing here, and my music as well. Some of my songs, already during the time of, like, Instagram, mainly Instagram. One of my songs, like, kind of went viral. Sony Records reached out to me,
Cool.
and they were like, "Hey, I'm an A&R here at Sony Records. We'd like to talk to you about your future." When I got that email, man, like, after, again, I started at 13, and I got this email, I think when I was like 24, around there, 25. I started crying. I was just sobbing, because I was like, man, so many years of, like, all hard work of, like, in this music thing, and this happens. Like, this might change my life. my family's life, everyone's life. Um, and and I tell my parents, and they're like ecstatic. They're like, wow, this and that. And from not being academically prepared in anything and not being good at anything, again, like my parents put me in all type of sports: soccer, football, baseball, swimming, volleyball. I didn't like none of it. I didn't like any of it. And it was just music, you know what I mean? And creative arts. And so when that happened, unfortunately, the song that went viral, I got hit with a copyright infringement.
No.
So that went down the drain. Song got taken down, and everything just, it just
My
stopped.
favorite copyright story is, the Fugees' first
Mm.
album.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make many money off of it
Oh, because of the.
because so they come out with this album and they have basically no rights to any of the samples they use.
Jeez.
Like Wyclef has none of the rights to any of the samples they use. But it's a banger. It like hits.
Dude, it's
And he's
iconic.
like, put it out. And they get sued left and left and left and right. And they kind of, changed all their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, great, zero money, but their lives changed. And I really love this story because it's also like, again, don't think profit before product.
Right.
Like, do the thing you love. But yeah, they don't own that album. They make to this day when you play it, like they don't own the album, they don't own the copyrights. One of the great, to me, like a top 5 album of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
They never got
Dude,
the rights to make.
No, absolutely, man. And unfortunately, that happened to me.
What was the track? We're gonna play it.
Oh man, no, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
We'll play it when we do this.
So anyway, so that happened, and then I was just like, you know what? Like I just need to figure something else out. You know what I mean? Like it didn't discourage me because I knew I can actually make this happen again, possibly. So anyway, that was kind of like the music thing that happened with me, and I was doing. That's when the whole graphic design after started doing work for Atlantic Records for different artists, and I kind of just stayed with that, and that's when I made this shirt. And when I made this shirt, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna just put it out, see what happens, and yeah, that just changed everything. And now because of Brown and Proud, I stopped making music because it just took over my time, and my focus is still this. Like sometimes I'm like itching. I'm like, damn man, like I'll catch myself like writing on my phone on my notes, like writing songs, lyrics, and I'm just like I hit up my homie. I'm like, hey, do you got some time so I can go record something real quick? And I have recorded like here and there still. And
When you start hiring folks,
right, get back on
you
it.
go to music, then the Brown and Proud record label.
Yeah.
Then the institute, which I love.
Yeah.
Whatever's in that institute, I'm very into it. You had this moment. You said you're watching TV. You're like, I want blonde hair. I want to be Zach or Max.
Yeah.
I had this. I think a lot more people have this than they realize.
Yeah.
The images we perceive are insanely powerful. They're on billboards. They're on magazines. They're in television. This is why that they say that term representation matters, but on a fundamental lived way, there are many brown bodies and bodies of culture who do not like the way they look.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see themselves as heroes, as stories worth telling and celebrating.
Yeah.
I've been on TV. I've been in publishing. I think it's something ridiculous. Like 4% of books go to. I'm specifically speaking to brown men.
Wow.
Like that's crazy.
That's wild.
Like,
yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
And I say all this to say, your clothes in the world and in the street make a difference. On the occasional time I've worn brown enough merch or something, I love when someone says, "What is that?"
Mm-hmm.
And I know your clothes are doing that.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know I could wear that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could even be brown and proud.
Yeah.
I didn't even know and the conversations that are started. And so that is also, clothing is also a version of representation
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
Uh, and and so it's really beautiful, and I'm really grateful to know you and to get to wear it. But
Yeah.
I'm really grateful it's out in the world because I know it's doing that
Yeah.
left and right.
No, absolutely. And just to kind of go off of that, like we get emails, messages where people are like, "Hey, I'm Mexican, but I'm light skinned. Can I still wear brown and proud?" Like people really ask these questions, and it's like, and that's why I feel like the slogan is so important, and I'm trying to push that slogan out more. Like brown is more than just a color, like this is culture. This is about culture. It's not about skin color. It's not about any of that. um and people can make it that if they choose, right? Like if you're brown, by all means be proud of your skin, you know but yeah, we get emails all the time of people saying, "Hey, I'm Salvadorian, but I'm light skinned. Can I still wear this? I really like your clothes." And it's beautiful, man, because it comes from a very like innocent place in their hearts where it's like, "Can I?" Like it's so like it's endearing. It's like, and it's beautiful to even get those messages because it's our job to make them feel like, yes, you are
You're a
part of
part of,
this.
you're in the community, you
Yeah.
are the
Yeah,
community, we
like
need
it's
you.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's so important, man. And and as far as the clothing as well, like it's nothing high fashion, you know. This is more like us walking around. We're walking billboards, we're walking picket signs, we're walking, letreros, like,
Resistance,
yeah,
walking
like
liberation, walking
that's
prayer.
what this is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it fits nice, feels nice, and everything. It's not crazy high fashion, but just the message on its own, like that's what people want to carry. And when people wear this, man, you know that they are proud.
Yeah.
They're not just wearing it because, oh, I'm gonna buy this shirt just cause like it looks cool. No, it's the message. That's what I've learned, that the message is what they really wear, and that's what has that power, that empowerment for oneself, where you're aware of your culture, aware of where you come from. And we try to push that out a lot, where it's like, hey, we push a lot on different cultures, on as far as like the movement and everything, not just like Mexican culture. I mean, right now with the Copa
World
Mundial,
Cup.
like
Yep.
right now it's like, everybody's pushing Mexico, Mexico, Mexico. But aside
That
from
said,
that,
there are very fly
yeah, thank you,
products towards this World Cup, so buy them.
thank you,
Support your
thank you,
team.
appreciate that. And we try to include everyone, man. Like I said before, like it's not just about the Chicanos, the Mexicanos, the Salvadoreños, the Guatemala. It's all of us together as one, and it's beautiful to see people wearing the shirts, and it's again, it's motivation for us to continue pushing.
As we start to wrap, uh, any questions for me? Slash, what are last? Like, what's next, or what do you want from the people? Yeah, anything.
Hmm. In what sense? What do you mean? Like
Like, how can people, besides just buying the clothes, you need them, you want them to do something, you want to know something, you want to, yeah. What's the ask?
the ask, man. I don't honestly, man. I don't really ask too much. It's just continue being proud of where you come from. It's just, continue remembering where you come from, the work behind everything that we have today. Our grandparents, all the work that has been put out, like, the farm workers, the people that have fought for us, advocated for us in order for us to have these, like, I mean, it's not easy still, but I know it was a lot harder back then. So it's just a matter
You were
of,
your ancestors' wildest dreams, right?
yeah,
That's the line.
exactly. Remembering what they did for us, and in order for us to be here now, like sitting and being freely able to have this conversation right now. And even in this climate right now, it's still a little hard, because there's people who are scared of speaking up, who are scared of standing up for themselves. There are people who are undocumented that are it's scary. It's a
Yep.
scary time we're living in right now. And for Brown and Proud, man, like it's our job to be that voice for them. It's our job to speak up for them, to stand up for them. And like I said before, God put me in this position, and this is it's a responsibility. It's honestly a big responsibility to carry this, because again, like at a certain point, like we could even be a target. You know, people might not like it, but here we are, and this is our responsibility. This is our God-given dream, God-given gift, God-given position, and I take it very serious. You know, and it's I'm not asking. I'm not asking for permission. I'm not asking, for anything. It's just all I could ask for is be proud of who you are, where you come from, and acknowledge those who came before us.
Amen.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah,
truly grateful. Thank you, brother.
yeah. Absolutely, my guy.
Appreciate you, fam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's our time. I hope you found some wisdom here, some love, some inspiration. Go make something beautiful and go support Brown and Proud. Peace.